All right, everybody, welcome back again to Invest in You, and thank you for tuning in. This is part 3 of the stock picking series in 2018, and the topic for today will be all about technical analysis. Now, if you remember back in part 1, I mentioned that technical analysis is basically the practice of using current as well as historical data to forecast the price of a stock. And the reason why you want to do this is because maybe you want to set a price and where you want to either go in and buy or go ahead and sell a specific stock. So you always want to do it at the right price, right? You always want to buy low and then sell high depending on the circumstances. So today's video is going to basically teach you all of the tools that you can leverage, all the technical tools, and how this ties in nicely into the prior videos that I've shared with you before. So without further ado, let's dive in. Now, why is technical analysis important, right? It's not just a matter of like, oh, let me just go ahead and plug in a bunch of numbers and try to understand the graph. A graph in itself doesn't really tell you anything. You will need part of the information that you've gathered in the fundamental analysis or in the research phase of it. This is the reason why I mentioned it is very important for you to understand what's going on and learn as much as you can about the company that you plan to invest in. Learn everything about their funders, how are they doing financially, whether they have any revenues or whether maybe they're in a negative cash flow, but perhaps it's because due to the fact that they do have an investment up front and hopefully they're waiting for some return in the end. So that all of that information will tie in nicely to help explain what's causing the up in prices and as well as what's causing the dips in prices as well. So one of the key questions that you might want to ask in order to provide a better picture to the graph that you're looking at, for let's use this one for example for the S&P 500. So when you see the ups and the downs in here, you probably want to find out, okay, so this is happening sometime, let's say, what we can say end of February, beginning of March. Is this happening because there's an announcement of their earnings? Maybe some companies like they're decided to do an announcement of their earnings around this time frame, and maybe there was a lot of hype around that moment that's causing the price to go up. But then as soon as they announce the news, maybe the company wasn't as profitable as they expected, therefore causing the price to go down. So that's one assumption. Another one, maybe it was a piece of news that they announced, or maybe something that their competitors announce. Maybe let's say for example we have Amazon deciding to do food delivery, and then all of a sudden you see the prices of Walmart plunge because of that one announcement, because now people who have memberships in Amazon, they're deciding to use their Prime membership and not pay for any delivery fees in order to get their services overnight in terms of food delivery. So little items like that, that's what makes fundamental the prime. In my opinion, you can actually get away with not doing a technical analysis because a graph in itself will not give you the full picture. It will not help you understand what's going on. So therefore, you do need the information that you're gathered in the research phase or quote unquote fundamental analysis. Again, technical analysis does come in handy when you're trying to determine which is the right price for you to go in or get out. And so by doing that forecasting, it's what's going to help you determine that appropriate price range for you to go ahead and do that. So what are some of the tools that you can actually leverage? One of them is actually the MACD indicator, and the MACD basically stands for the moving average convergence divergence. Again, don't be intimidated by the technicality and how fancy that sounds. Basically, what MACD indicator does is that it's going to help you identify when to sell and when to buy. And again, after this video, there's going to be a real life demo where we're going to actually use some of these, two of these indicators. One is MACD and the other one is the Bollinger Bands in order to help you determine that price. Now, the Bollinger Bands is actually one of my favorite indicators, one of my favorite tools to use, and it was created by John Bollinger. And basically, what the bands give you is that they were going to help you see the price volatility based on standard deviation. Now, I know you heard that term sometime in school. We're not going to get highly technical in here, but just think of it this way. The standard deviation is how far you are from the average. The further away you are, the more volatile the price of the stock would be. The closer you are, the less volatile, but that also is an indication that something is about to happen. And again, I'm going to cover the details once I go ahead and start recording the live demo using some of these indicators and these tools, so don't worry about it. For now, just focus on learning what tools are available to your use, and then we're just basically going to go ahead and analyze the stock together, just like I did before with the fundamental analysis video. Now, moving on. What tools can you actually use? What platforms? What's available out there for you to start doing and using those indicators and creating those graphs, right? So we have the usual YahooFinance, which I'm going to go ahead and do a demo as well using that particular tool. There's also Vanguard and Charles Schwab. Like I mentioned with Vanguard and Charles Schwab, you do need to maintain a minimum. With Vanguard, it's about $1,000 in your portfolio. I'm not sure, again, what Charles Schwab is. I recently opened up my account and haven't really gotten the time to go in and start trading and leveraging the tools. I've used Charles Schwab mostly because of their reports. They do provide a very comprehensive set of reports that includes both the fundamental and the technical analysis of specific stocks that I'm interested in. If you want to tune into that, I'm going to provide the link down below for the prior video where I actually show you what type of report Charles Schwab's provide. And one last tool, which is actually my favorite here in this case. It's called TradingView. It's rarely available out online. I'm going to provide you the link down below, but it's actually free to use and it's a very fully comprehensive tool. It not only has in the repository all of the available stocks out there, but you can actually use TradingView as well to do analysis on different type of cryptos or cryptocurrencies that are out there, such as Bitcoin, Ether, whichever is it that you're interested in. You can actually use that tool as well to do predictions on how the price is going to be sometime in the future, assuming everything is equal. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that these predictions are highly hypothetical. They are doing a prediction assuming that nothing is going to change in the near future, assuming everything remains the same as if with the current data, and that assuming that everything is going to continue to happen the same way it has happened in the past. It is not that's why it's called a forecasting and not an actual prediction. There's no way for you to fully predict what's going to happen tomorrow. For all we know, we might get a piece of news that is going to completely impact the market and just cause the market to crash, or maybe we'll have a piece of great news that's going to cause the price to go up even more, bringing us more return on our investment. So always be aware of the implications that you're getting yourself into when it comes to investing. And again, don't follow the opinion of what other people say, because whatever stock is working for them, whatever type of investment is working for them, does not necessarily mean it's working for you. So always do your due diligence before you go ahead and invest your money. Try to do your best to make an informed decision and be as unbiased as possible. And that's basically it. When it comes to investment advice. Again, Investing You is not a financial advising. We're just simply doing these videos as for informational purposes. And without further ado, that's it for today. Stay tuned, and the next video, part 4, it's going to be a live demo using all of these different tools that I mentioned today. And I'm going to walk you throughout the entire process how to apply this technical analysis and the technical tools into a stock of your choice so you can make better decisions in your future investment. Until then, stay tuned and ciao!